Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 13 of Season 6 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas Speedway, aka the best track we go to every single season, for obvious reasons. And we are here for a great day of racing here at this D-shaped mile-and-a-half racetrack. But before we take a look at the starting lineup, let's take a look at how the point standings look coming into the race today. So, after the last points race we ran, which was Darlington, Cole Deaver has the points lead still, but just lost quite a bit of ground in the points, as now 18 points ahead of second place Matt McIntyre, third Jake Baskinger, fourth Jessica Shelton, fifth James McLeod, sixth Rob Evans, seventh Cody Lamas, 8th, Dylan Poteet, 9th, Anthony McCrory, and then 10th, Trent Dunham. So that is how the top 10 in the points look coming into the race today. And with that said, let's actually look at the starting lineup for the race. Starting in the last row, we have James McLeod and DJ Curtis. Top 10, Carson Gum is on the pole for today. Starting next to him is Cody Lamas. Row 2 is Trent Dunham, Cole Deaver. Row 3, Tim Fiegel, Dylan Jacobs. Row 4, Rafael LeDuc, Phil Parker. And then row 5, Johnny Gardner and Logan Bradley. With that said, let's get the command to fire engines for the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 drivers on the racetrack for their one pace lap around here. Now, with this racetrack, I always call it a self-cleaning track because there is always constant passing going on all throughout the field. And also up here at the front, we often get quite a good amount of lead changes during the races we run here at Kansas. So I expect more of the same, and we very rarely, if at all, get wrecks that occur here. But we have had a couple of wrecks happen here in the history of this racetrack. Could we see some today? Who knows? We'll just have to watch and see how things play out. But we're getting ready to come off of Turn 4 as the pace car is pulling into pit road, and we're about ready to get this race underway. Ladies and gentlemen, boogity, 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 let's go racing. That concludes lap number 1. Trent Dunham was the one to lead that lap. Rafael LeDuc has the spot for now, but it's 3 wide now for the spot. Johnny Gardner trying to use the middle. Meanwhile, on the bottom is Tim Fiegel. And as you can see, there's some... Oh, man, they were almost 5 wide for a second. That could have been bad. Almost contact between Melissa Alexander and Zachary Fitzwater. That could have been a major, major problem. But back up here at the front, Tim Fiegel has the race lead for now. So both the Sega Motorsports drivers have led a lap here today so far, as we're still clean and green. Right now, Zachary Fitzwater trying to get up to second, and he has that spot. Teammates out of Average Joe Enterprises working together. Melissa Alexander into 6, and Logan Bradley into 90, working together to... try and get up to the front, as I'm looking around the back here to keep an eye on things. Because I see they're going a little bit crazy in the back at running 4 wide. Meanwhile, back up at the front, Fiegel still leads, but Melissa Alexander's got the run on the inside. Imagine if that would have been the finish. That would have been amazing, but it was Fiegel who led the lap. But now Melissa Alexander takes the top spot. Here comes second in points, Matt McIntyre, to take the spot for himself. Remember, he comes into this race 18 points behind the points leader, Cole Deaver, and Matt McIntyre definitely looking to try and get the points lead going forward. And as you can see, at certain points in time, when we come through the front stretch, drivers tend to try and run the apron down there to try and get some extra speed. Sometimes it works out for them, some other times not so much. Meanwhile, as Matt McIntyre still holds on, we may have a battle for second ensue, as here comes Seth Cole with a run on the inside of Rob Evans, I believe, in the 88 right there. Joey Parkhill in the 26, moving his way up the field. Same with Anthony McCurry. Now, this was announced just a few days ago that this is actually going to be the last season, at least for a while, that we'll see Anthony McCurry run in the Marvel Studios Cup Series, as he's going to be taking a hiatus or maybe even a retirement, who knows. But McCurry, this is his farewell season, at least for the time being. So he's definitely looking to try and potentially finish his Marvel Studios Cup career on a high note, as he did come into this race 9th in the point standings and currently running 1-2 with his teammate Seth Cole. Logan Bradley moves ahead of Matt McIntyre for the 4th position, as meanwhile Zachary Fitzwater is looking to get a run on the 14 of Matt McIntyre. Well, slight contact, not much, but meanwhile back up at the front, Anthony McCurry now has the race lead. Rob Evans takes second back from Seth Cole. Still anybody's race, even guys running here at the very back still have a shot to win this thing, as we are almost a quarter of the way through the Hollywood Casino 400. Now, if this race were to stay green the whole way through, you gotta wonder, when will these drivers end up having to come into pit road for fuel and tires? As Logan Bradley has a run to the inside of Rob Evans to try and take the 2nd position away, and Zachary Fitzwater going to follow suit and maybe even try and challenge a spot for himself, as he's got the run on the inside. But meanwhile, the points leader, Cole Deaver, who fell to the back quite early on, has found his way back up here towards the front of the field. And then you got, actually the top 3 in points are all fighting for position here. Baskinger using the apron to get an advantage. And then you had Matt McIntyre kind of slip up a little bit on the front stretch, leaving room for Joey Parkhill to take his position and to actually get a couple more spots potentially. Dylan Young, on the other hand, who's been really struggling ever since he won this season, and I can't remember exactly what track it was he did win at, but he comes in this race 39th in the point standings. He's definitely looking to try and get some momentum going on his side. Otherwise, he's just going to have quite an abysmal season throughout the rest of the time. Back up at the front, Anthony McCurry still leads, but here comes Jake Baskinger with a run to the inside. Now, Baskinger hasn't won a race yet, nor has he scored a top 5, but he's had 4 top 10 finishes this season. He's just been very consistent. Comes into this race 3rd in the championship standings. And he's definitely definitely a man on a mission to get his first championship, and I think, to my knowledge, this is also his farewell season as well, because he will, at least for the time being, he won't be back for season 7, so he's definitely looking to win his first championship. Look at Jonathan Zorleen in the 41. He will be back for next season, and Zorleen comes into this race 11th in points, moved up 2 spots after the Darlington race, definitely looking to try and get back into the top 10 in points, and regardless of lack of wins, This has been so far Zorline's best season so far. It's almost like as I've said before, ever since he left the 88 car, he's been performing a whole lot better than he usually does. And he's showing it right now, running in third. And speaking of the 88, Rob Evans in the 88 up to fourth. Got a couple of new top 10 contenders up here, James Shelley and James Qualls, as Qualls actually kind of used the apron a little bit to get a little extra speed, and he moves up to the 8th spot. And then you got the Daytona 500 winner, Michael Norman, in the 3. Now, Michael Norman has had a couple good finishes, but he's had some pretty rough luck so far this season. Comes into this race 24th in the championship standings. Seth Cole, who led early on, he's trying to work his way back up into the picture for himself. Back up at the front, I believe, yes, that is the new leader, Jonathan Zorline in the 41. As we're getting closer and closer to the halfway point. And once we get to the halfway point, I will try and do my best to do a full field rundown. Battle on for the lead as here comes Rob Evans in the 88. Now, Rob Evans has been one of the most pleasant surprises so far here in Season 6. A newcomer to the series. Comes in 6th in the point standings, even though he was 2nd the week before at, I want to say it was Sonoma? I believe it was Sonoma was the race before Darlington. And Rob Evans is actually tied for the rookie points lead with the 6 of Melissa Alexander. But right now, Rob Evans starting to slip back in the field as Matt McIntyre takes the lead back. But here comes the 2 of the dominant cars from early on. Seth Cole and Anthony McCreary, teammates out of Backmarker Motorsports. And now that we're at the halfway point, let's actually do the full field rundown as best as we can. Seth Cole currently leads the way. 2nd is Anthony McCreary. 3rd, Matt McIntyre. 4th, Logan Bradley. 5th, Jake Baskinger. 6th is James Qualls. 7th, Rob Evans. 8th, Cole Deaver. 9th, Charles Sanford. 10th, Tim Fiegel. 11th, Bradley Zorgdrager. 12th, Jonathan Zorline. 13th, Benjamin Miles. 14th, Joshua Collard. 15th, Phil Parker. 16th, Kyle Matthews. 17th is Michael Norman. 18th is now Jessica Sheldon. 19th, Johnny Gardner. 20th, Rafael Leduc. 21st is Dylan Young. 22nd, Caleb Kilburn. 23rd, James Shelley. 24th, Emmanuel Hartnett. 25th, Melissa Alexander. 26th, Cole Baker. 27th, Dylan Potee. 28th, James McLeod. 29th, Jordan Forbes. 30th, Zachary Fitzwater. 31st, Jake Rogers. 32nd, Trent Dunham. 33rd, Joey Parkhill. 34th, Joshua Sekuli. 35th is Jay Jefferson. And then currently the bottom 5 would be Carson Gum, Cody Lamas, Dylan Jacobs, DJ Curtis, and Chris Dollarton. Back up at the front, it is still Anthony McCreary leading, but new challenger Charles Sanford in the 03 reeling in the 61 for position. A little bit of side draft from the 22 on the 14 to try to get the spot for himself. Meanwhile, Phil Parker, the winner from California, who has been struggling virtually ever since then as he comes into this race, 19th in points. Had a bright spot at Darlington, moved up back into the top 20 in points, but wanted to achieve some more. But his teammate out of Curtis McIntyre Racing, Matt McIntyre, trying to take the spot away from him. Now you gotta wonder, we're getting closer and closer to the point of when these drivers have to come into pit road. As it's 3 wide for the lead, Seth Cole takes the spot over both McCreary and Sanford. But I assume at any point now, we're going to see green flag pit stops, and then the complexity of this field will change. As I'm looking around to see if anybody's elected to come in already, and so far I'm not seeing anyone do that yet. So we're alright for now. But Seth Cole, he comes into this race 28th in points, fell quite a few spots after Darlington, looking for his first top 5 finish of the season, but more importantly, his first win of the season. And nobody has elected to come into pit road, or actually, no, I was wrong. A few drivers have decided to come into pit road, but they were mostly running in the back. So Shelton, Qualls, Jacobs, and Rogers all come in, side by side for the lead again. McCurry and Seth Cole, but it looks like McCurry's going to come into pit road. Looks like quite a number of drivers elect to come into pit road this time. Oh, and we got a caution! And it looked like it was a 2-car accident between Dylan Young and Joshua Sekuli. That is going to be very, very interesting because quite a number of drivers were stuck in pit road at the moment of caution, and you got to wonder if they're going to be a lap down or not. I don't think they will because of the fact that... Oh, and actually there's damage to Joshua Collard, and he actually has got roof damage. I wonder if he turned over at all. But here come the rest of the leaders into pit road, and I see Sekuli took his car over the wall, so he is definitely out of the race. And I think we ended up with only... Oh, and Rafael Leduc was involved. I didn't even see his car. It looked like a 4-car accident took place. Now, I don't know if Dylan Jacobs is the race leader or not. I think he's going to be tail end of the lead lap, as we're seeing cars retire out of the race after everything that just happened. But not sure who the race leader is, but let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Kansas. Well, here's a look at what happened. So this could be the start of a rivalry, because watch this. Joshua Collard seemed to be very, very upset with James McLeod over something. Comes up, gets into the 51, slamming him hard into the outside wall, but ends up damaging his own car and taking out more drivers. Right there, Rafael Leduc hits the 43, and when they come up, that gets both the 09 and the 43 upside down, and then a hard hit from Dylan Young, in which Dylan Young was up on 2 wheels, almost turned over. And Joshua Collard ended up in the catch fence slightly right there. But now here's when Joshua Sekuli, right there, first into Leduc, then Dylan Young, and Dylan Young ends up taking another hard, vicious hit. So, and actually there was some more contact that took place. It looked like it was with the 71 of James Shelley. Oh, he runs into the back of Carson Gum when they're coming into the pits, and Shelley was carrying too much speed right there into the rear of the 19, which gives him big time front end damage. Little bit of contact from Trent Dunham, so we had 2 different incidents take place. Oh, did DJ Curtis hit the 2? Let's watch the 4 of DJ Curtis. Helicopter cam just barely misses the 2 of Dylan Young, and he ended up staying out, so I think maybe he's going to be the race leader. I don't know. I'm going to be curious to know who's going to lead the race now, because that was quite a timely caution, and Dollarton avoids the 2 as well. So let's go ahead and take you to the restart and see what happens here at Kansas. Well, in addition to Dylan Young, Rafael Leduc, Joshua Collard, and Joshua Sekuli being out of the race, there seemed to be an incident on pit road involving Jessica Shelton and Emmanuel Hartnett, as they are both also out of the race. Meanwhile, Dylan Jacobs and Jake Rogers are on the tail end of the lead lap in front of the leaders, in which Seth Cole is still your race leader. Second is Jonathan Zorling. Third, Jake Baskinger. Fourth, Anthony McCurry. Fifth, Matt McIntyre. Sixth, Bradley Zorgdrager. Seventh, Benjamin Miles. Eighth, Cole Deaver. Ninth, Charles Sanford. 10th, Rob Evans. 11th, Zachary Fitzwater. 12th, Caleb Kilburn. 13th, Michael Norman. 14th, James McLeod. 15th, Jordan Forbes. 16th, Kyle Matthews. 17th, Cole Baker. 18th, DJ Curtis. 19th, Jay Jefferson. 20th is Tim Fiegel. And then the rest of the field is Melissa Alexander, James Qualls, Johnny Gardner, Joey Parkhill, Dylan Poteet, James Shelley, Logan Bradley, Carson Gum, Trent Dunham, Phil Parker, Cody Lamas, Chris Dollarton, Dylan Jacobs, Jake Rogers. Green flag back out with 8 to go here at Kansas. Not a whole lot of time left for some of these drivers to get up to the lead. But one thing these two, the 56 and the 78, are hoping for is a quick caution right now so they could cycle back around to the back of the field to gain spots. But now, because they're side by side, that's just going to help the 98 of Seth Cole lap them both. 7 to go here at Kansas, and Seth Cole still hanging on to that spot. But Jake Baskinger in that 54 is not going to give up easily, and he's going to have a run to the inside of the 98. New leader, the 54 of Baskinger, and potentially his farewell season. One more lap car to deal with, or lead lap car left to deal with, and that's the 56 of Jake Rogers, in which now the 56 has gone a lap down. Benjamin Miles, on the other hand, he's right there behind the 54. Miles comes into this race 27th in points, looking to go for his first win of the season, right behind the 54 of Baskinger. But look who else is entering the picture. Cole Deaver in the 8 car, the points leader, looking for his second win of the season, in fact. Michael Norman, his teammate, also looking for win number 2. As now Miles takes the spot from Baskinger, and now Miles has the lead. And when we get to the line, I believe it's going to be 4 laps to go. So time's running out for some of these guys, as we're still green. Miles has the spot, but here comes Norman to try and take second away from the points leader and his teammate. Norman now up to second. Look at the 99 of Caleb Kilburn. He's come out of nowhere towards the end here. And how about Jordan Forbes, who's the only driver this season to have yet to score a top 10 finish. Today may be the day he finally gets one, as he's actually going 3 wide to try and take a spot in the top 5. Miles just lost the lead as Michael Norman takes it, but look at the 99 of Kilburn, who will be back in that car next season in the number 99. Guaranteed, confirmed, he will be back next season. As meanwhile, he takes the spot. Norman falls second, but Jordan Forbes, he may be one to go for even more. Forbes up here to third. Seth Cole trying to make a comeback up to the 4th spot. Meanwhile, side by side for second between Forbes and Norman. Caleb Kilburn still hanging on strong with the lead. He's got one more lap to hold everybody off. Forbes in second, but Seth Cole might challenge that as he's going to run lower on the track as the white flag is out here at Kansas. Matt McIntyre going to try and make it 3 wide for second. That might have just sealed the deal for the 99 unless the 14 somehow, some way gets a run on the 99. He is closing in. I don't think it's going to be enough, though, as we're getting ready to come off of turn number 4 for the final time. Checkered flag getting ready to wave. Caleb Kilburn wins career win number 1 at Kansas in the Hollywood Casino 400. Caleb Kilburn, who had been wanting to race in this series for so long, here in his rookie season, came into this race 16th in points, fell out of the top 10 after the last race at Darlington, but gets his first ever win. And this is definitely going to boost him probably back into the top 10 as a result. So congratulations to Caleb Kilburn for win number 1. But let's look at the rest of the results. Matt McIntyre finishing strong in the second position, so that's going to get him more points to gain on Cole Deaver. Meanwhile, Seth Cole, one of the dominant cars of the day, finishing very strong in third. Rob Evans with a great run in the 4th position, and then Trent Dunham continuing a bit of a momentum streak as he came into the race 10th. Definitely going to move up quite a bit as he finished in the 5th spot. Benjamin Miles with a great performance in 6th. Joey Parkhill, much needed good run in 7th. Phil Parker, same deal, finishing in 8th. Michael Norman was so close at the end to get win number 2, but gets a great run in 9th. And then rounding out the top 10 was Charles Sanford. And then there's the rest of your top 20. And in fact, I think Matt McIntyre may take the points lead now, because Deaver finished 18th but didn't lead a lap, to my knowledge. So, I don't know, it's going to be close. And then there's the rest of your top 30, and then the rest of the field, and then the bottom 5, of course, being Hartnett, Young, LeDuc, Collard, and Sekuli. So, tough break for those guys. As Jessica Sheldon was dealt a lucky hand to stay ahead of the 20 so she could still get points. But that does it for our coverage here today at Kansas. Next time, I'm not sure where we're heading to next, but until then, this is, here are your final results, rookie points and regular points heading into our next race, and this is Levi McIntyre signing off.